In the deepest depths of the ocean, light is always present, silently and mysteriously. I want to create a piece of memory, a place where the ocean is no longer noisy, but filled with calm and wonder. Every angle, every layer of transparent resin is a layer of the sea, where purple light weaves through like the soul of water. If someone tells you that making an epoxy resin lamp is as easy as pouring resin into a mold and waiting for it to dry, well, get ready, because you're about to step into a world full of surprises. And if you're just starting out, or if you've messed up like I did, then this story is for you. It all began with an image in my mind, a vision of the ocean floor, vibrant coral reefs, schools of tiny fish gliding by, moss-covered rocks, and at the center, a soft, mysterious glow. Every detail I placed here carries its own story, like this little turtle, which I imagine swimming alone, lost in the vast deep. And the light from the lamp becomes its only sun. From there, I was inspired to create a unique shape. Not a simple round mold, but a faceted form, like a crystal. But that became the first big challenge. Resin overflows easily, is hard to control, and when it's time to demold, more than once it cracked, broke, or stuck tight like stone glue. It means I had to imagine everything that would live inside the lamp before even shaping its outer form. One thing to note is that lamps with special shapes are much more prone to leaking. The epoxy would seep out through tiny gaps. I had to start over from scratch. Not once, but 3 times. But with every failure, I understood more. Resin needs time, the mold must be carefully prepared, and patience is absolutely essential. Every grain carries its own story. The cracks are memories, the lines are the journeys it has taken through nature. I don't choose the most beautiful piece, I choose the one with scars, where time has left its mark, because it's the imperfections that make the light truly special. When I place my hand on each piece of wood, it feels like touching a part of the forest's soul. And I wonder, what story could this wood tell, when combined with the light of the ocean's depths? In the beginning, I thought it was simple. Just a beautiful piece of wood would be enough to make a lamp. But reality taught me so much more. I once chose a piece of wood with a truly unique shape, but I didn't check its moisture level. A few days after pouring the epoxy, bubbles started to appear, the surface became uneven, and the entire lamp cracked. That's when I realized if the wood isn't completely dry, it will breathe inside the epoxy and ruin the entire piece. I once kept the outer bark because I wanted to preserve its natural look. But after finishing the piece, beneath the clear resin, the mold spots appeared like stubborn stains that couldn't be washed away. And from that very bark, countless bubbles kept rising. That's when I realized even natural beauty needs careful preparation, cleaning, sanding, and treating it thoroughly. Choose your wood carefully, dry it thoroughly, and clean the surface well. And don't forget the final step. Apply a thin layer of epoxy onto the wood surface before placing it into the mold and pouring the resin. This will significantly reduce air bubbles coming from the wood. Choose the right pigments for your epoxy. Not every type of color is suitable. After a few painful moments watching my piece harden, while my heart felt like melting, I had to go back to the basics. Turns out mixing colors for resin is just like choosing the right palette for a painting. It takes understanding, not guesswork. I realized the fewer the colors, the deeper the beauty. Each drop of pigment is a choice, not just for how it looks, but for how the light lives inside the lamp. Coloring resin isn't a technique, it's a feeling, a way of turning a formless liquid into a light that tells a story. From my experience, use just the right amount of pigment, less than 6%, to preserve the clarity of the epoxy. Avoid combining too many highly contrasting colors unless you know how to control the blending. There's a moment every resin artist looks forward to, the moment of demolding. For me, it feels like opening a secret box. Inside lies the result, the hope, and sometimes even disappointment. My first failure was demolding the piece while the resin was still soft. I thought it had cured, but the surface was still sticky, warped like melted candy, and all the delicate details I had arranged we're crushed. Polishing is one of those steps that can feel tedious, and that boredom can easily lead to mistakes, ruining all the hard work you've done up to this point. So be careful. Start with fine sandpaper, from 600 to 2,000 pesos. Sand in circular motions, not just in one direction. Always wet sand after removing deep scratches to reduce friction and avoid creating new ones. And finally, use a polishing compound made specifically for resin. I learned something important. Strength isn't always the answer. With resin, it's finesse and patience that truly create beauty. When I got it right, each fine scratch slowly faded away and the lamp began to glow, in its own unique way. As if every mistake before had simply led me to this moment. If you're feeling lost in the polishing stage, don't worry, I've been there too. And it was through those scratched, messy surfaces that I learned how to create light. Be patient. Because true beauty doesn't come from getting it right the first time. It comes from not giving up when you get it wrong. Making a beautiful epoxy resin lamp doesn't just require good materials, it takes something even more precious. The qualities that every DIY artist must practice day by day. Patience. Resin needs time to cure, and the person working with it needs time to grow. All things beautiful are never in a rush. Attention to detail. Every drop of resin, every layer of color, every tiny element placed into the piece, they all demand care. Because a moment of carelessness can ruin everything. Creativity. No two lamps are ever the same. Each one is a unique piece of art, a world you create from your own imagination. The courage to fail? No one gets it right the first time. You'll pour it wrong, mix it wrong, demold it too soon, polish it badly. But only by daring to fail do you get closer to what's right. Appreciating imperfection. Every lamp carries a small flaw, a tiny bubble, a subtle crack, a shade slightly off. And that's what makes it special. Just like us. And if you're just starting out, don't be afraid. Because resin doesn't just teach you how to make a lamp. It teaches you how to light yourself up from within. You're not just making a lamp. You're shaping patience, creativity, and the light inside you.